Welcome to Wired In. Today we're talking about lighting. So the first step in creating a lighting opportunity or for getting a lighting solution for your facility is to talk to someone that knows what they're doing. And so that's what we're doing today. We brought in Bobby Graham, who deals with this every day with customers all over the United States. First of all, Bobby, what kind of customers are you talking to on a daily basis?
So as a company, we deal with facility managers. So that can be any from managing a hotel, it could be a clinic, could be a retail location, could be a commercial building, or even just a warehouse.
So what kinds of challenges are facility managers facing?
Well, there's many of them, right? And they're complex, right? Certainly when you're managing one or many facilities, you've got everything from lighting, you've got plumbing, you've got HVAC issues. There's challenges every day, and they're complex. Sometimes they're very hard to solve.
What kinds of, so we're talking about how to identify lighting opportunities.
Right.
What kinds of problems can lighting solve?
So the things that lighting solves for is reducing costs, and that could be costs from just simple maintenance, right? It costs money to repair lighting. It costs money to maintain it. That's material and labor. There's also costs associated with energy expense. If the lighting is on and on all the time, it's going to consume a lot more energy than it would if it's off, right? And it's also going to fail faster if it's on longer. So those, from a cost standpoint, there are those challenges and opportunities that it exists with lighting. The other side of that is efficiency, right? Is it enough light to perform the task? If you think about a warehouse, they're assembling parts. Can I see the parts appropriately? If I'm in an office space and I'm an employee working at a desk and it's glary, and I'm getting headaches and it's hard to see, that's an opportunity that lighting can solve. There are things like hotels, like is the lighting in the room on and working when no one's there? Right. Can I waywardly find my way through a parking lot? Is the signage working? Can I see that it's an Apple store?
Or do I feel safe?
Do I feel safe, right? So that efficiency, not only through the space performing my task, but then also that comfort and feel factor is where lighting can really help.
Now, I know maybe more than any other business technology over the last 5 to 10 years, lighting has changed drastically. I mean,
and it's changing right now.
It's probably, it's changing as we speak. So maybe kind of outline, because if I'm a facility manager and I'm looking at lighting and I look up, every time I look up it's different, or there's a new solution, or someone's bombarding me with, hey, here's a new whiz-bang thing that's going to solve all your problems. So can you give me kind of an overview of how lighting has changed and how we approach lighting differently now than we used to?
Well, lighting now is like a computer.
Sure.
Almost like a smartphone. I mean, the lighting in the old days was a lamp. It was a fluorescent.
The old days of 5 years ago.
5 years ago, right? and we still find them today, right? Old technology, T12. I mean, that technology was basically a driver and a lamp, right? And it's a fixture. Now you've got computer chips on board in lighting fixtures. So the technology is changed drastically. The way light is produced has changed drastically. Now it's an LED as opposed to a lamp, a filament. So technology continues to progress and get better. So technology, now that it is progressed the way it is, it's saving more money. It can also be more costly, but it could also be less costly than what you're buying now.
Well, and it's not just how the light is produced, it's also how the light is controlled and maybe the shape of the light altogether, right?
Right. The most important part about lighting is that it helps the environment and it helps the people in the environment perform their task. That's the most important, right? Is it appealing? If I go to a restaurant or a hotel or a nice venue, does the lighting look spectacular? Does it make me feel homey? Does it make me want to be in that environment? Same thing with work in a retail space. Lighting, the most important part about it is when I walk into the space, the retail looks great. Like when I walk into a Verizon, does it make me want to buy a phone?
Right.
And that's the important part about lighting.
I'm looking at all these technologies and I'm looking at all of these things and I'm asking myself, questions about whether I have an opportunity. Maybe I have one location with multiple floors. Maybe I have multiple locations. Maybe I have a campus of locations.
Right.
What kinds of situations do you find where you can make the most impact?
I think that's what's exciting about being a facility manager, right? So you're faced with a budget. You're faced with multiple locations. Could be across the country, across the state. They're all different. Mm-hmm. They may all look similar with signage, but they're all different sizes. They're all different shapes. They have different problems. They have different systems, not just lighting systems, sometimes different control systems, sometimes different rooftop units. So they're all different, right? So that's the exciting part. And you have to figure out how to keep them operating.
That doesn't sound exciting to me to have
and working.
for them all to be different.
Right. So that's a big challenge, right? And so we want to understand, right? Where are you at? Are you building a new facility? That might be a different lighting system than you have a few older facilities that just you want to maintain, that don't want to do anything with it. So we look at the company as a whole, and we try to understand. We want to listen, we want to learn, but we want to help you make the right decisions. It's all about education. We never want to come to the table with, I have a really nice lighting fixture that would look spectacular in your location.
Would you say you deal with people who have a solution in looking for a problem? Or, I think I said that wrong. They have a solution in search of a problem. That's
and I think there are a lot of lighting companies out there, a lot of great companies out there, but if their focus is to sell you a product,
right,
and not help understand if that's the right product, and maybe not today, but maybe 10 years from now. It's really about where are you going? It's what is the state of your facility, and what is the best decision for you today? It may not be a lighting fixture at all.
Oh, I think that's a really important point. Is the first question to ask really, and I think I've heard you say this before, is what am I doing and what do I need, right? And
absolutely.
I mean, is that what mistakes can I make if I don't ask that question first?
I think the mistakes you can make are you're going to buy a product and it's not going to work. It's not going to be compatible with the control system you have. You're not going to be happy. And most importantly is it may not help the environment. And maybe your employees perform worse under it. Maybe they can't perform as well as the older technology. So that's important, right? The store, if it doesn't look great and it's not inviting and lighting doesn't help you get there, then you're selling less product, right?
So the mistake you can make and the pitfall you fall into is trying to implement a solution and not really look at the problems and not really look at your facility and your needs.
Yeah, I always say, if you're a doctor, you're a dentist, you're a doctor or you're a dentist. You're not a lighting consultant, you're not a lighting expert. So you should always ask, no matter what industry. If you're in the health and fitness industry, and you're not, and you want to become more healthy, you hire a personal trainer, right? We all need that. We all need someone to help us.
You're getting a little personal.
Accomplish a goal, as me as well. But we're trying to help you or the facility owner accomplish a goal. His goal is not to buy lighting.
Right.
His goal is to keep the facility operating as it should, to either sell more product or to have a gym that people can play basketball in, right? That's not his job, right? So his job is to call a trusted advisor, allow them to come in and learn about what is going on right now in this facility. Is the system in place working? Is it optimal? So it's really educating them on these systems are okay, right? They're working just fine, right? It may be just that we repair and maintain what's there and we don't spend any money. But then there might be a facility that's in extreme disrepair that's being costly and more costly over time to maintain. So then we start looking at technology that can help solve that problem. And I think really what's disappointing the industry today is a lot of companies say, let's just go gangbusters. Let's do controls, let's do IoT, let's do a high-end control solution. Let's do a dashboard, let's do remote connectivity. Your regional managers can log in, your owner can log in, they can change the lighting, they can make changes, but we do all that and they don't use it.
Right.
Right? It's not useful. It doesn't provide any value to them. And that's the really disappointing part about this industry, and that's where we're at, is technology has come a long way. There's some really exciting things out there. Even helping people waywardly find their way through a grocery store is available, right? You can onboard that onto a lighting fixture. You can have the app on your phone as an employee to pick stuff off the shelf, but as a patron, I can go find the milk faster, right? So those are really exciting parts of technology, but is it right? Do we need it? Is it going to be used? And I think 9 times out of 10 today, people are buying technology that's not being utilized. A good example is on the lighting industry is fine-tuning color changing, right? So you've got fixtures today that can carry the same color temperature as the sun over a day's time. Pretty cool, right? You walk in and it's the morning, it's kind of blue, right? And as it gets late in the day, it kind of turns a little warm, and maybe it dims a little bit to get it more warm and inviting. Pretty cool technology, but do you really need that? It's a great idea for a home, but in a retail space, does that make sense? I don't know. I mean, that's where we have to listen and learn, and that's where we have to say, is this really the right technology for the facility?
Let's say I'm in a facility manager and I have a portfolio of buildings. Let's say we're acquiring buildings.
Right.
I'm a national C-store, and we're buying gas stations, or we're doing things like that. And so I've got some old buildings, I've got some acquired buildings, I've got some new buildings we're building. And I've got, like you said before, I've got this mishmash of of needs. What kind of plans can we make to solve all of those needs at the same time? Because they sound like they work against each other.
And probably what you want to hear is, I want you to spend a lot of money, rip a lot out, change a lot of things, and then have a brand new space. Be great, right?
Right.
That's what I want you to do. But you can't do that, right? So you can't just rip everything out. You don't have the budget. And as a facility manager, you have the responsibility to do what's best for the owner and the intent of the company, and that's spend the least amount possible to make the company go forward and be profitable. So I think there's a strategy there, right? So you've got new construction stores. You've got stores that are flagships that you want to look great.
Right.
You want them to be the best they can be, but then you've got older legacy stores that you can't spend that kind of money. So we like to look at it as there's a go forward plan, and then there's potentially maybe a renovation plan, a retrofit plan, and then maybe a maintain plan. So we're sitting down together, and we want to really develop a solution that says, if I have the budget to spend, and if I could have the best technology out there, this is what it would look like, and these are the components and strategies that we would utilize. And we would make that the go-forward plan. Now, I think what's really, really great about technology today is we can mimic that go-forward plan in a retrofit position, right? Maybe it's a new fixture on a new construction site, but it could be a retrofit kit. It could be a very similar looking fixture, right? It could look and feel the same to the patron, to the employee, but drastically different in cost and drastically different in installation.
So you mentioned that. So what's the difference between a retrofit and a renovation?
So when you think about renovation, it's changing walls, it's adding paint, it's revitalizing the space.
It's like a tenant build out, or
it could be a tenant build out. It could be just a build out of a space. I mean, it could be that we want to repaint. It could be graphics, right? It could be simply that. It could be a new ceiling, maybe because the ceiling was damaged and warped, and we got to change the ceiling, so we might as well do the lighting at the same time. And a lot of times it'll include multiple trades. It's not just an electrician, right? So for us, it would be working with a carpenter at the same time, or working with an HVAC specialist. That's a renovation.
Okay.
A retrofit is where it's just typically an electrician, right? Where electricians bringing in lighting product to the space. We're retrofitting the lighting, either mostly like for like. So if there's a 2x4 today, it's a 2x4 going in its place. It just looks different. It's more efficient. It saves money. It solves those challenges that you have, right?
And what you're talking about, the advantage of talking to someone who's creating more of a business solution is you may not need to replace all of that if you talk to someone who's not selling you the fixtures to replace it.
And you may not know, right? So I know that we're building a store and it looks this way, right? So I'm thinking that if I have to do new paints and graphics, I need to buy that same fixture and carry that same cost. It could be $50,000 to $100,000 lighting package. So I'm thinking as a facility manager, maybe I got to do that same package in a renovation, but you don't, right? You can get there at a much lower cost and provide the same look.
By keeping the same fixtures and maybe just changing the filament or changing the tubes or changing something like that?
Could be as simple as that. And really it could be do nothing and come up with a better strategy to maintain the facility. So that's that side where, am I buying the right lamp today? I think that's where we really need to sit down, and when we talk about the fundamentals and when I start to get to know a customer, I want to know what are the decisions they're making today. Are you buying the right systems today? Do you have the right maintenance program in place? And that doesn't cost you anything.
What are some of the situations where a facility manager, it may not be a good idea to retrofit your building to LED?
Right. Well, and at the end of the day, lighting on paper is pretty simple. It consumes energy, right? When it's on, it costs money, right? So there is a cost to maintain lighting. You got to turn it on, that costs money. There's also a cost to repair it, right? And there's a cost to replace it. So if I can provide new technology that can reduce that cost, then there's a return on investment. So that's what we want to evaluate together. We want to sit down and say, from a maintenance perspective, am I providing the lowest lifecycle cost that I can provide right now to my facility, right? Am I making the right decision? Because if we're not, we need to start there. And then the second step is where am I going? Do I have a long-term lease? Am I moving out? Am I moving to a different location? Or am I going to be there for a while? And how do I want to spend my money, right? So return on investment is always wise, no matter what you're buying. I want to get a return, right? So it's the same with lighting. So it's simple, right? It consumes energy. So if we can reduce energy by utilizing better technology, then we can create a return. So we want to lay out the technology.
So that's what a lot of people think about with LED. They think it's, I'm going to go from a 400 watt light to a 4 watt light or something.
Right.
So everyone concentrates on that part of the savings, but there are really other things to think about in terms of the simplicity of that lighting, right?
Yeah, and I think a lot of mistakes that facility managers or owners will make is that I want LED and they just buy it without really evaluating the system as a whole and how it's going to work, how it's going to benefit and support the facility itself. Right?
And I think that's really important to think about, because in the past, we thought about a 90 watt warm white bulb was the same. It worked in everything.
Right.
It looked the same everywhere you installed it, or a daylight tube was a daylight tube. Now there are so many different options and there's so many different parts of it that it can really be overwhelming to make the right choice, and it's so easy to make the wrong choice. So maybe talk a little bit about that in terms of when I'm deciding on LED, how do I not make the wrong choice?
Well, that goes back to really relying on a lighting expert, because even myself, it changes all the time. New technology is going to come out tomorrow. I have to stay up to speed on technology weekly, monthly, because it's constantly changing. It is overwhelming. And so that's where, relying on that trusted advisor, that lighting consultant, they can help you navigate the marketplace, right? So it's not just going online and saying, I've got a 4-foot tube I need to replace. There are 1,000 different 4-foot tubes in 1,000 different colors. The same with a fixture, right? It's a round fixture, but a round downlight, there are hundreds of thousands of different versions, types, lumen packages, and there's nothing worse than you yourself buying a system or buying a lighting product and showing up to your facility and it doesn't fit.
Or it's the wrong color.
It's the wrong color. It doesn't work with the dimmer.
You think it can dim and it can't dim, or it dims a different way than you expect it to dim.
Yeah.
If you talked about finding a trusted advisor, besides you, What do you look for? I mean, what are the kinds of things that if I'm talking to someone about being my lighting advisor, what are the kinds of things I should look for, and what are the things I should look out for?
Well, number one, the thing you should look out for is anybody that comes in to talk about a product right away.
A specific product.
A product. That's a salesperson, right? The salesperson is going to come in with their product and then talk to you about how well their product performs, how great it does, and all the different things that it can do, right? I would say if that happens, I would not do business with that person. Because that's not what lighting is about, right? That's not what any business is about when they're selling a product. It's not about how well it can do. It's about how well it's going to solve your challenges and how well it's going to support you and how well it's going to help you grow your business. So if a trusted advisor comes in and asks questions and learns about you and how you make decisions and wants to see your facility and how it operates and how the employees are using it, I would say that's a great lighting consultant. That's a great person that I want to do business with, because the more he knows about me and the more he knows about how my facility operates, the better he can navigate the marketplace of technology and come up with a system that's right for me.
So how far, a lot of the lighting products we have now have really long warranties. Right. Where they didn't before. How important is that, and what do I need to be looking at in terms of warranties, in both in the installation and in the product itself?
Warranty is tough to really understand. Lighting manufacturer will say we have a 5-year warranty, but there's always that limited and the terms at the bottom, and it's really long and no one reads it. So there are problems with warranties. There are problems with warranty programs. I've got to ship it back. So you can imagine if you had a space with 2 lighting fixtures and one went out, and the manufacturer says, you got to ship it back to me before you can actually get the new one because I want to test it. And then when they test it, come to find out it was shorted out by water leakage, so now I got to buy a new fixture anyway. So warranty's going to be complicated. But they're there. Manufacturers do warrant their product, but there goes back to working with a company that can help you get the product quickly, help you administratively figure out what happened. Is it due to warranty manufacturer, and really help get you the solution replaced quickly.
So we talked, and it's kind of switching gears a little bit, but one of the things we talked about were hard costs and soft costs. We talked about different kinds of costs that we may not even be thinking about with lights. We talked a little bit about some of the opportunities and some of the benefits of lights, and I think those go hand in hand. Can you talk a little bit about kind of what the costs are that I might even be thinking about?
Well, the opportunities is like what I like to call them, and so the easy one is there's an opportunity to save energy. There's an opportunity to save money. That's really the bottom foundational idea of lighting. But if you think about in a space where you have employees, if they're performing their tasks better, that's producing more revenue for you, right? That's the opportunity. So if I can perform my tasks better, more efficiently, if I want to be there for 8 hours as opposed to taking breaks every 10 minutes, I'm happy the lighting is providing a sufficient, efficient environment. That is very, very profitable for a business. The same with a patron coming into a facility to purchase a product. If they feel comfortable, they feel safe, if it's inviting, right? In a restaurant, and you walk in and there's a beautiful chandelier, even walking through a retail space and the lighting helps you find your way to the very expensive purses in the back. And I sell a purse because of that. That is the benefit of lighting. Those are the opportunities.
Well, we've talked a lot about interior lighting. Exterior lighting and parking lot lighting really is part of this conversation too. And there's a lot of benefits to parking lot lighting that may not even have to do with color and temperature and brightness.
Oh, absolutely. It could be as simple as like a hotel. Wayward finding your way to the right parking lot to park and actually walk inside. Where's the entrance, a hospital, emergency entrance, the signage, being able to waywardly find your way through a parking garage to actually park and feel safe. The safety factor is the biggest thing, right? So if I feel safe, I'm gonna wanna be there. I'm going to want to stay. I'm going to want to walk inside. I'm going to feel comfortable, and I'm going to come back, right? So if the exterior lighting, if I can't see the signage and I don't know where to go and I feel lost and confused and unsafe, I'm not going to go there. I'm not going to go back.
Or I'm not even going to think it's open.
There, believe it or not, many retailers that we've dealt with that say no one's walking in and they think that the store is closed. So obviously if we illuminate with lighting and signage and make it feel inviting, people will come.
What about people that say, you know what, we tried controls, it didn't work. We tried LED. It looked terrible. It looked like there were car lights on all day, or it was too bright, or it was glary, or that it didn't work. We tried this. There's a lot of there's been a learning curve for a lot of this technology. What would you say to those people?
Look, we all make bad decisions. I've made my fair share, but that is the challenge, right? A lot of people have gone through situations where it was a bad decision. I have a system in place that was wrong.
I may have been burned in the past by technology. I don't trust it.
Right.
So why should I trust it? Why should I trust this technology? It didn't work.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest challenge with technology today is people are trying it. It is not working. It's not the right solution. So the only way to understand that is to understand what went wrong. What went wrong with the technology, what didn't work, and then try to solve that problem, right? The controls weren't compatible with the lighting fixture. Why weren't they, right? So understanding that, it's not a rip and replace, it's trying to figure out, okay, can it work together? And where did we go wrong?
So what's the future? I mean, what is lighting going to be like 10 years from now? It's changed so much now. What's going to continue to happen?
It's exciting. The future of lighting is going to be that when you walk into a space, it follows you. It talks to you. It breathes with you. I mean, and lighting is going to be an environment. Temperatures will be set to your liking. You can confidently walk and park your car, navigate through the space. It is going to move with you. It will be an environment for you, which is really exciting, no matter where you go. And that's fun to think about, right? So if you stay at a hotel, the hotel room is at your temperature. The lighting turns on and off when you want it to. The TV might, right? And the lighting will then follow you as you go. As the restaurant, the color temperature. I mean, you think about it, it's endless to where we can go with technology and IoT. It's really, really exciting.
Hey, thanks for watching. Before you go, 3 quick things. First of all, if you like this content and you want to see more of it, hit the like and subscribe button down below. We're going to be releasing these on a regular basis. So while you're down there, hit the notification bell, and when we come out with new content, you'll be notified. This is a community that's built on your questions, your comments, and your participation. There are 2 ways that you can participate in that. One, obviously, ask questions in the comment section down below or make a comment. We'd love to know what you hear. Also, we're taking your comments, putting them together, and there is a companion podcast that goes along with this video where we're going to answer all of your questions and all of your concerns that you have around this topic or any others. Look in the show notes down below for links to the podcast or any of our other content. Thanks, guys.